Baseball is brought to you in part by Discover Card. It pays to discover. Accepted where you see the Novus sign.
You're looking at the borough of Manhattan, and now you're looking inside Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York. Huge crowd on hand as Rick Reed steps in to lead it off here in the bottom of the fifth.
And right here, Mets chance to score a run, but Beltray makes a great play, and ends the inning. Mets have had two chances to score, and they've been turned back by two great plays. One by Beltray and one by the shortstop, Castellani.
And the 1-0 pitch to Reed is down low. 2 balls and no strikes. It's been quiet here at Shea because of a pitcher's duel so far. No runs, 2 hits for each club. Reed takes a strike. 2-1. Foul off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Reed takes the breaking ball, strike 3. So 1 man down here in the bottom of the 5th for the Mets.
Left fielder Tony Phillips.
And now we'll take a look at our Jeep game summary.
Well, it's all pitching in this ball game, although Olerud has had 2 for 2 and a 15-game hitting streak.
And the batter now, Tony Phillips. He takes a strike. Phillips in this ball game grounded out. That was in the first inning, and struck out in the 3rd. Takes down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillips at 39 years old is 5 foot 10 inches tall, 175 pounds. Outside, 2-1. Over the years, usually the leadoff hitter is not a real big guy, although Bobby Bonds was about 6'3". He was an outstanding leadoff hitter for the San Francisco Giants.
Phillips was originally signed by Montreal. Never played for the big club.
3-1.
Played with Oakland for a major part of his career. Also the Angels, White Sox. 16-year major league career.
Well, he has a count of 3-1 with 1 man out here in the bottom of the 5th. Don't score the Mets and the Dodgers, and Phillips walks. That's what I want him to do, get on base. So Steve Phillips picking up Tony Phillips.
Third baseman and
Tony Phillips going down to first base with a walk here in the bottom of the 5th. And Carlos Perez will now take on Edgardo Alfonzo. Alfonzo takes a strike, so it's 0-1. Cookie Rojas, third base coach at the Mets, flashing signs. Perez faking to first base. And now he throws. Checking Phillips. Alfonso right now batting .258, 6 home runs and 47 RBIs. Mets were expecting a little bit more from Alfonso this year.
They need to have him get hot.
That's not going to do it because it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. And And that'll do it for the Mets here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They fail to score. After 5 here at Shea, there's no score. The Dodgers and the Mets.
Having fun yet? Then get to the Summer of Fun and nobody beats the Wiz. Buy the fun stuff you want and get more fun stuff, like special offers, tickets to games, Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall with select purchases. See newspaper for details. Nobody beats the Wiz, a Cablevision company.
Only God makes better copies.
Since Armageddon hit, there's been a lot of this going on. Even a little of this. But the one that hits McDonald's this week is the granddaddy of them all. Catch this summer's other blockbuster, a quarter pounder with cheese, America's favorite fries and a Coke. Think that's big? Grab supersized fries, a supersized drink, and a double quarter pounder with cheese, all for just $1 more. Where can you get a meal with its own gravitational pull? Did somebody say McDonald's?
It's out there waiting. And in all our years of experience, we've learned one thing. You're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With upfront pricing at Midas, we first perform a 45-point inspection to find what repairs are needed and what can wait, so you only pay what we quote you. Come into Midas today, because you never know what you might run into next.
Hispanic night here at Shea Stadium. Before the game, the late, great Roberto Clemente was honored. On hand, his son, Luis Clemente. And Luis, we know your dad passed away doing charitable work to the earthquake-stricken victims in Nicaragua. But his charitable work continues to the Roberto Clemente Sports City, doesn't it?
That's correct. We've been working very hard at Puerto Rico, Roberto Clemente Sports City. And basically today we have the support of Major League Baseball by having both Major League Baseball presidents in our board of directors, also the owner of the Pirates, Mr. McClatchy.
Now, your dad passed away on New Year's Eve in 1972. You were 5 years old. What memories do you have, and obviously what have you learned since then about what he meant to this game and to his people?
Well, you know, growing up while he was alive, I learned he was very dedicated. He was a person that liked to always be in great shape and represent his people in the best way. So as I kept growing by reference, by the experiences that other people had with him, I actually came to understand the kind of human being that he was, and that is so important for me. So that's why I'm continuing his dreams, actually.
Roberto Clemente was a great player, but more importantly, fellas, he was a great humanitarian.
Thank you, Matt. Charles Johnson pops up a 1-2 pitch to the right side of the infield, but perhaps fittingly, it's Carlos Baerga who makes the catch.
Talking about Roberto Clemente, when he was young, he was a great javelin thrower, as well as being one of the players with one of the greatest arms in baseball.
Probably how he developed it, huh? Rick Reed has retired 11 batters in a row, as Carlos Perez will be the hitter.
One thing I've learned, though, Howie, it's much better to be a javelin thrower than a javelin catcher.
That's when you know you've got an entry-level position. Carlos Perez way out in front of the breaking ball, 0-1. Clemente was such an outstanding player for so long, it might surprise some people to know that he didn't really get his due nationally until 1971, next to last year of his career, when he led the Pirates to a World Series victory over the Baltimore Orioles. But it was only after that World Series that people all over the country talked about what a great player Roberto Clemente was.
Yeah, he turned down his chance to play in one of the great movies of all time, The Odd Couple. They asked him to hit into a triple play for a scene for the movie. He said, no, not me. The great Roberto Clemente doesn't hit into triple play.
And the fastball on the inside corner gets Perez.
When Roberto Clemente and the Pirates would play against the San Francisco Giants Juan Marichal, if they were in
Second
Pittsburgh, would
baseman
go
Eric
and have
Young.
dinner at Roberto's house, or Roberto would go to Juan's house in San Francisco and have dinner. And one time, Juan Marichal invited Roberto to go to his house. Well, Roberto said, yes, I will go, and didn't show up. Well, the next day, Juan drilled him. And as he was going to first base, he said, the next time I invite you or you say yes, you better show up.
Could almost have predicted that, given the lore about pitching in those days. Guys like Marichal and Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale. Wonder if any of that was exaggerated.
Well, I was talking to Juan about that story the other day. He was here at Shea Stadium.
Breaking ball misses to Eric Young, 1-0. Young's grounded out twice, once to short and once to third. Each side with 2 hits, no score, 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. Olerud has both New York hits, Bressolonic and Hubbard for the Dodgers. 2-0 now to Young. Eric Young started his career in the Dodgers organization. Became an original Colorado Rocky. And now back with the Dodgers. 2-1. In fact, he was the first batter in Rockies history. The Mile High Stadium, where the Denver Broncos play and where the Rockies played the first 2 years of their existence. He got the organization off to a prodigious start with a home run. This one will stay in the yard, though. Tony Phillips lines it up. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Rick Reed. He's retired 13 in a row, but we're scoreless. Last of the 6th coming right up.
No matter how high the thermometer climbs or how sticky the humidity gets, nothing will be hotter this summer than the deals you'll get during Jeep summer days. Like a 0-down $279 a month Cherokee lease with only $774 due at signing. With all this, including air conditioning at no extra charge. Or get a great price on Jeep Wrangler. But you'd better hurry in because deals this incredibly hot are bound to cool down fast. Check out this $279 lease at your dealer.
This program is brought to you in part by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely and cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes.
Hello?
Susan, it's Fred.
Hi. Are we still on for tonight?
Indeed. I have reservations at Chez Joseph.
Really? That place is always booked.
Well, Shay's a personal friend of mine. Pick you up at 7.
Okay. So, do you look as good as you sound?
OmniPoint, 100% digital, 0% hassle. Get $179 Ericsson 388, the latest in digital wireless, for $49.
International Week continues with Jewish Night on Tuesday, August 4th. Show up at Shea early for a pregame concert by David Dudu Fisher. The first 25,000 fans will receive a pin commemorating Israel's 50th Jubilee. Be here when the Mets take on the San Francisco Giants as the race for the wild card heats up. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX. That's 718-507-TIXX.
It's time for the Coors Light Silver Bullet 6. Adam Sadell from New Jersey is today's lucky fan. So if a Met homers this inning, Adam gets dinner for 2 at a participating Turtle Bay Grill and Lounge. And Adam, you got 3, 4, and 5 in the Mets batting order trying to get you that meal. John Olerud, Mike Piazza, and Brian McRae. Olerud's been the Mets offense tonight. 2 singles, 1 in the first, 1 in the third, each coming with 2 men out. So Olerud now with a 15-game hitting streak and the batting average at .342. That is higher than any Met has ever hit in a full season. Leon Jones in 1969, helping the Mets to their first World Championship, led the team in hitting with .340.
John Olerud led the American League with .363.
And he hits this one hard, but right at Eric Young. That's the first out here in the 6th inning for New York.
John Olerud has to be considered one of the better hitters in all of baseball, the way he swings that bat. The Blue Jays wanted him to hit with power, more power. And they tried to change him. They wanted him to get up on the plate and pull the ball. Didn't work out.
With 1 out, Mike Piazza coming up. 0-1 to Mike, who's still looking for his first hit against his former team. 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. George Fabregas, the catcher, talking to Bob Apodaca, the Mets pitching coach. Fabregas was saying before the game that he expected, it's funny because this is what Piazza was saying at the time of his trade to New York too. He heard that he was going to be traded, but he figured it was going to be to the Cubs.
Everybody thinks they're going to be traded to the Cubs.
Got to make Scott Service and Tyler Houston feel outright, just downright terrific. They're the incumbent catchers in Chicago. And Piazza down at the change.
Center fielder Brian
Tommy Lasorda was the guy that got Mike Piazza signed against everybody else's wishes in the Dodgers organization. He said they had a tryout. He got the scouts to look at him. The Dodgers scouts said, well, he doesn't swing the bat good enough to be a first baseman. At that time, Mike Piazza was the first baseman. He said, okay, how's he shape up as a catcher if he swings the bat like that? They said, well, he'd be better off if he was a catcher. He said, okay, he's a catcher. And that's how Mike Piazza ended up catching in professional baseball.
So Piazza still trying to get it going on a more consistent run-producing level for the Mets. And it's Brian McRae taking a strike, 0-1. McRae is struck out, bounced into an inning-ending fielder's choice. It was on an outstanding play by the shortstop, Mark Russellonic, to end the third inning. Olerud was at second, Piazza at first, and McRae hit it hard, took a big hop, and the outstretched glove of Mark Russellonic came up with it. Russellonic again. McRae flying down the line, but Russellonic gets it there in time. So the Mets go in order in the 6th inning. Our thanks to Ralph. We'll see him again on Monday night for the final game of this 4-game series. This one scoreless as we head to the 7th.
Hi, I'd like to start getting home delivery of the Sunday New York Times.
Now you can enjoy Sunday even more by getting the New York Times delivered to your home every weekend. And when you call now, you'll get 50% off the regular home delivery price.
I enjoy waking up and having the Sunday New York Times waiting for me. I know it'll tell me things that I won't hear, read, or see anywhere else.
I get international and cultural news, and I get a jump on the week ahead.
Call now to order, and you'll get the book review, travel, arts and leisure, week in review, and the New York Times Magazine.
On Sunday mornings, we catch up on what we really love. She goes straight for arts and leisure. I check out the magazine.
So call now to enjoy the Sunday New York Times for 8 weeks with home delivery at 50% off.
Hi, I'd like to start getting the Sunday New York Times at home.
I think the only thing I enjoy more than doing the crossword puzzle is actually finishing it.
Call now, 1-800-496-2453, and get the Sunday New York Times delivered to your home every weekend.
For me, Sunday was made for the New York Times.
Have Mets fans changed much since the early 1960s? Let's find out.
Win or lose, I love the Mets. I think they're the best thing for New York.
I'm a Mets fan, and my children are a Mets fan. We talk Mets all the time.
I like the New York Mets because they're a hard-fighting team, and they get all the bad breaks.
We're really rooting for the Mets.
Well, the fans haven't changed much. Mets fans sure stick by their team and to Fox Sports New York.
We watched the Mets play and captured by their spirit and their enthusiasm, and now we're both Mets fans.
Where were you on May 22nd, 1998?
They have Grissom picked off. He broke early. Cook running right at him. They get another one.
This is unbelievable.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by MCS Cannon, keeping people in business in business. Howie Rose, Fran Healy, Ralph Kiner, Matt Loughlin, all with you from Shea Stadium tonight. Too early to fall asleep when there's a salsa concert coming up after the game. Going to the 7th inning with no score, just 2 hits per team. Mark Russellonic in his Dodger debut has one of them. And he goes after the first pitch, fouls it back.
Boy, if you like good pitching, you're watching the right game. Rick Reed and Carlos Perez have been throwing excellent strikes, getting ahead of the hitters.
Reed looking for his 12th win of the year. He's 11-7. And he can't come up with a comebacker. It shoots through the middle, and Grusselanik's got his second hit. And that's the first time tonight the Dodgers have had the leadoff man on. It ends a streak of 13 straight batters retired by Reed.
Here's how it looks on the chase cam replay. Grusselanik gets a pitch out over the plate, and he hits it right back up the middle. Reed just missing that ground ball.
So now the Dodgers with Grusselanik on first get into the power in their lineup. Gary Sheffield is grounded into a double play and flied out to center. Sheffield 19 homers, 74 runs batted in. A lot of action in that bat as he takes ball one. Sheffield wiggles that bat around in the batter's box about as often as anyone, although Fran refuses to accept the thought that he might be wiggling maybe 1.5 to 2 times less per plate appearance than he used to. 2, 3, 4, 5. He was at 6 last night. Would have been there if he didn't show bunt. And it's 2-0.
Sheffield is a very good athlete. In fact, in high school, the high school coach at Hillsborough High School in Tampa, Florida, would not allow his baseball players to participate in the football program. Doc Gooden told me one day they were looking at the paper and they saw that Gary Sheffield scored a couple touchdowns. They couldn't believe it. He was on a football team. The baseball coach wanted him to quit. He refused to quit.
It's this one into short center. On comes McRae. Tried to decoy the runner Grusselanik. McRae playing the ball on a hop. And the Dodgers have 2 on with nobody out.
First baseman Eric Karros.
Saw McRae try and convince Grusselanik that he was going to make that catch to freeze the base runner. But Grusselanik wasn't buying it, and so Sheffield has a base hit.
Well, it's tough when you're playing a guy like Sheffield. He takes the big swing. He hits the ball off the end of the bat. More than just a few times that ball's going to drop in, because if you're an outfielder, you're playing the swing of the bat and hopefully the sound of the bat. But when you got a guy like Sheffield who can drive the ball, he takes the big swing. When he hits it off the end of the bat, there's a good chance he's going to get a base hit in the shallow outfield.
Eric Karros now, who has struck out twice. First pitch hitting, he fouls it away. 0-1. Karros struck out looking in the second inning, swinging in the fourth. He's only had 1 hit in 10 trips to the plate against Rick Reed. Let's play Karros straight away in the outfield, the infield at double play depth. Baerga sneaking in behind, but Grusselanik back. Grusselanik wearing that number 30, formerly worn by best shortstop in LA Dodger history, Maury Wills. And the fastball just missed. 1-1. Harris has driven in 59 runs this year with 13 home runs. And he hits that one well to right field. Huskies got a beat. Grusselanik tags. He's on his way to third. Throw comes into Ordonez. So Sheffield holds it first with Grusselanik now in a scoreless game at third base. 1 out. Runners at the corners for Matt Luke. So Karras in this scoreless game gets a runner to within 90 feet. And now Matt Luke will try and break the ice for the Dodgers. He has struck out, grounded out. And the old third to first proves nothing.
Haven't seen that work in many, many years. I think I told you, though, I caught a guy who, well, he could use that play. He picked guys off third and first. His name was Steve Busby.
Broke his bat, Luke did, as he lined it foul. 0-1.
Steve Busby would embarrass base runners with that move.
Why? What was it that Busby was able to do that nobody else is capable of doing?
The key going to third is the third baseman has to be close to the bag. And when Busby would come up, he would tuck. And when he would tuck, it was amazing what he could do. Most pitchers, they don't tuck. They go up, and they just step towards the base.
Why don't you define that?
Well, tuck is he brings that front leg in towards his stomach, and it's just a motion, and I believe it's illegal now to tuck. But Busby had it down to perfection. And he would pick guys off third. I've seen him do it twice in one game to the same base runner. The players on the Kansas City Royals would get excited when runners were on first and third and Busby was pitching.
That's where they are now, at the corners with one man out. 0-1 to Matt Luke. And Reed away with a fastball, ahead of the count now. Russalonic started the inning with a single. Sheffield followed with a bloop single. Caros flew out to right field. That's how Russalonic wound up at third. So you see the Mets set up defensively, hoping Reed could get a ground ball. And the Mets can try to turn a double play and get out of the inning. The 0-2 to Luke. Got him! Strikeout number 6 for Rick Reed. 2 men away.
Center fielder Trinidad Hubbard.
Reed not out of the inning yet, although Luke's work is done for the time being. Trinidad Hubbard, the Dodger center fielder, coming up.
And that last pitch from Rick Reed, throwing the heater by Luke up high. Get that big swing, and ball might have been a little bit too high and out of the strike zone.
Trinidad Hubbard fouls the first pitch down the right field line. 0-1. Hubbard doubled in the second inning. Grounded to third in the fifth. Trinidad Hubbard's been a hot hitter lately for the Dodgers. 19 hits in his last 49 trips. That's trying to cool him off and get out of this 7th inning. And the fastball away, 1-1. Hubbard had some knee problems earlier this year, which put him on the disabled list. And one of the Dodgers' better pinch hitters as well, in Raul Mondesi, out tonight with a stiff back. So Hubbard in the starting lineup, as he was last night. And the 1-1. A chopper towards Ordonez. Side retired. So Rick Reed gave up a pair of singles to start the inning. Got Caros, Luke, and Hubbard. And it's time to stretch at Shea, still scoreless.
Well, my Discover card statement reads like a wish list.
What?
Toys. I like toys. I love pinball machines. This will improve my golf game. It is unbelievable to me how fortunate I've been in my life, and I can't ask for anything more. The best thing you can do with your Discover card cashback bonus is give it straight to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's what I do.
It pays to Discover. Call 1-800-IT-PAYS-TO. Accepted where you see the nervous sign.
The new Dodge wanted to take the sport utility concept to a higher level. Enter the new Durango. Its best-in-class power, cargo space, and seating for up to 8 raise the bar considerably, as do its strongest-in-class frame and its stable, longer, wider stance. Dodge Durango, a higher form of sport utility, from top to bottom. Durango, new ground for the new Dodge.
Having fun yet?
Then get to the summer of fun and nobody beats the Wiz. Buy the fun stuff you want and get more fun stuff, like special offers, tickets to games, Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall with select purchases. See newspaper for details. Nobody beats the Wiz, a Cablevision company.
When it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? National Car Rental. Let's go.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the Dime, the bank that's with you all the way. Hope you've been with us all the way tonight. Good pitchers duel. Rick Reed just did some solid pitching, much to the delight of that youngster and his dad. And now the Mets will try and get Reed some support here in the last of the 7th. No score. Mets with only 2 hits off of Carlos Perez in his Dodger debut, and he throws the fastball by Husky. Butch grounded to short, flat out to right. Husky, Baerga, and Ordonez. Here in the New York 7th. 1-1 now to Husky.
Well, Carlos Perez took his time getting to the ballpark today, but it didn't affect his pitching. We talked about how well Reed has been throwing. Well, Carlos Perez is throwing just as well.
He's got Husky. See the center fielder, Trinidad Hubbard, rolled around towards right center against Butch Husky with a left-hander on the mound. Is that surprising at all?
Yeah, because although Husky sprays the ball around, now maybe Perez knows that Husky hits him more to the right side, so he can dictate the alignment. You wouldn't consider Husky a dead pull hitter or a pull hitter. Look at Joey Malfitano, the third base coach at the Dodgers.
Husky checked his swing. Butch has only had 1 extra base hit in 19 trips against Carlos Perez. He's 4 for 19 in his career against him. It's fairly economical into the 7th inning.
He's thrown the ball very well, and so has Reed, and they're both throwing strikes and getting ahead of the hitters.
Breaking ball evens the count 2-2.
With 2 strikes, you see what Charles Johnson had to do. He had to go down there and catch that ball. He went down on both knees and scooped it out of the dirt just in case Husky would chase it.
They want it outside, and Husky just got a piece of it. Once the count got to 2 strikes on Butch, Hubbard, the center fielder, took another step over towards right center, the opposite field. Did he hold his swing? Yes, he did, according to Charlie Williams. So now the count's full. Carlos Perez was in an automobile accident last week as Baerga waits on deck. Perez suffered a broken nose. And the payoff pitch fell to the right side. And there were so many rumors in the few days leading up to yesterday when the Dodgers made the trade that the Los Angeles Times reported in yesterday morning's edition that Mike Judd would pitch for the Dodgers Saturday night unless they traded for Carlos Perez. Not as though they were clairvoyant. Certainly you would think they were in to some extent on what was going on. What with the Dodgers having been rumored to be dealing with the Expos for a while. Hit hard. Nice play by Eric Young. And Huskies retired, 1 man away.
Well, we talked about the defensive alignment right there. Husky hitting the ball hard, but to the right side off Carlos Perez. Eric Young making that play. Showed you the defense, and there's Perez taking something off that pitch. Husky waiting and hitting the ball, a 1-hopper to Eric Young. And you'll see the reaction by Carlos Perez.
Carlos Perez is used to pitching in these low-scoring games as Carlos Baerga takes downstairs.
But this club can get him some runs. The Dodgers should be able to help Perez in scoring more runs for him. Although that Expo ball club's not a bad team.
2-0 to Baerga. Carlos Perez has not gotten a lot of run support this year. Baerga has not done much offensively from the right side, but Right now, Carlos Perez has the worst run support among all National League pitchers. And you know who's second? Willie Blair. .3-0 to Baerga's right there. Blair acquired by the Mets yesterday in that Bernard Gilkey deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It's funny when you're not getting run support, it's like anything else. Then a pitcher tries to do special things to help himself out, and throwing a shutout here, trying to keep teams from scoring runs, put extra pressure on yourself.
3-2 to Baerga with 1 out. Scoreless in the 7th. To the right side, it'll reach the seats. So full count still to Baerga. Carlos Perez, 29-31 lifetime, 2-3 in his career against the New York Mets. This is the 79th start of his major league career. He's the opening day pitcher for Montreal this year. Ordonez waiting his turn. And it'll come with a man on base as Baerga draws a 1-out walk. So 1 on, 1 out. And Ordonez coming up. Lots more coming up. Mets and Dodgers do it again to close out the series Monday here at Shea, 7:30 on Fox Sports New York. And be back with us on Tuesday when the Giants come to town. Barry Bonds and company will hit New York for their only trip. Again, 7:30 on Fox Sports New York. Make sure to check your local listings. So here's Ordonez, walk and fly to center. Baerga with a short lead. Perez makes it even shorter. Ordonez was in his best hitting streak of the year, if you will, when he got hurt last week in Chicago. Not a consecutive game streak necessarily, but just his best groove.
He was coming off a good series in Milwaukee. Got some key hits against the Brewers. Right now they need a key hit from Ordonez, who's facing Carlos Perez with Carlos Baerga on first base.
And the 1-0 taken low. Perez has walked 5. Charlie Huff. Notice the grip on the telephone, not with the fingertips, as a knuckleball pitcher would do to a baseball. That's the conventional grip on the telephone.
Charlie Huff, a knuckleball pitcher, the pitching coach with the Dodgers. Now he's teaching fastballs and sliders.
Some milling around in the Dodger bullpen as the result of that phone call. 2-0 to Ordonez. And now 3 balls, no strikes. And Perez visibly frustrated. Rick Reed in the on-deck circle in a potential position to help himself. When you see Luis Lopez grab that batting helmet, makes you wonder whether or not Reed's going to hit.
Boy, it's going to be tough to take Rick Reed out of the ballgame the way he's pitching. He's allowed only 4 hits, no runs.
On the outside corner, Ordonez taking all the way, 3-1.
And Reed has hit the ball hard in this game. 1 time.
Antonio Osuna, the right-hander. Scott Radinsky, the left-hander for the Dodgers. Osuna, the winning pitcher in last night's game. 3-1 to Ordonez. Ball 4. Runners at first and second. 6 walks now issued by Carlos Perez.
Okay, now there's a situation here where you're going to expect a bunt from Rick Reed. We're going to get a pinch runner for Carlos Baerga. And Charlie Huff going out to talk to his pitcher. Bobby Valentine just sent Luis Lopez out to run for Baerga. Now Reed, everybody's going to anticipate the bunt. Is this a good situation to allow Rick Reed to take a rip? He'll probably get a fastball. Howie, you've been aggressively managing the Mets for many, many years.
Yeah, with Stratomatic, that's dice or computers. This stuff, that's over my head. That's what you've been telling me for years now.
I want all of you to get up.
Of course, the other factor is the problem that the Mets have had with their bullpen lately. I mean, personally, my personal opinion is you're not going to hit for Rick Reed here. He's pitched too well.
Yeah.
But had the bullpen been more consistent as of late, it would probably be a more tempting thought for Bobby Valentine.
Wouldn't tempt me. I'd allow Rick Reed to hit. I wouldn't care how the bullpen is doing. Right now, Reed is pitching very well. He swings a decent bat. He might pick up a base hit and drive in a run.
So as Reed comes up, the Dodgers plan their defense accordingly. Eric Karros in your picture, the first baseman, is backing up right now. He's about 15 feet closer to the hitter, and now he starts to creep up. Here comes Karros, the pitch taken for a ball.
You know, they got so many men in motion, so many defensive players in motion. If you can hit this ball with some type of authority, even on the ground, you get a chance of putting it through. You gotta be kidding me. Somebody threw a baseball on the field? Wow.
So 1-0 now on Reed. Lopez running for Baerga at second. Ordonez at first. The runners go. And Reed swinging away, hits it to center. Hubbard has time. And he gets there. So now Lopez comes back to second, and Ordonez goes back to first.
Good try by Rick Reed. He made contact. Hit the ball to center field.
Left fielder Tony Phillips.
And there's really not a whole lot wrong with that at all, even though, of course, it cost the Mets an out. You still have Lopez, a fast runner, in scoring position should Phillips get a hit.
And you can see Rick Reed's reaction when he gets down to first base. He was hoping he drove that ball over the center fielder's head. Now, the big thing right there is, I mean, he could bunt the ball and he could get the lead runner at third. Bobby Valentine took a chance, and it was a good move. Just didn't work out.
So Phillips now in a position to do some damage for the first time as a Met. Tony Phillips grounded to third, struck out, and drew a walk. No score. We're in the seventh. That's two base runners. Lopez at second running for Baerga, and Ordonez both coming via the base on balls. And Carlos Perez has issued 6 of those tonight. Hold, and Beltre, the third baseman, goes the short way, and the side retired. So Perez gets out of it, although he walks 2 more. And at the end of 7, still no score.
Summer means clearance at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Clearance means low finance rates. Now get 1.9 APR on all Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. Clearance means America's lowest priced minivan, Plymouth Voyager, costs even less. Clearance means big factory authorized cash back. Get $1,500 cash back on Plymouth Grand Voyager and Chrysler Town & Country LXI. Summer means clearance. Clearance means savings at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
This program is brought to you in part by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely and cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes.
Today, we could be part of someone's wedding. Tomorrow, we could help Lisa Powell win a new account. This evening, we might bring sweethearts together. Because every day, every one of us is personally involved in connecting every one of you to your reason for flying. And we all have the same reason for doing it well. You. Delta Airlines, on top of the world.
It's 62 days and nights of the world's best racing action. It's 100 major stakes races, including the Meadowlands Pace, Breeders' Crown, and the Hambletonian. It's a battle for over $14 million in purses between the world's best horses and best drivers. The championship meet continues through August 8th at the home of the world's greatest harness action, the Meadowlands Racetrack.
You're watching Mets baseball on Fox Sports New York.
We go to the 8th inning, but before we do, let's give you a look at our official score of the game. Brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Red Foley will settle all the scoring disputes. Here's your official score tonight, telling everyone about the Mets' defensive change as Rick Reed goes to work against the bottom third of the Dodgers order. Adrian Beltre takes a breaking ball for a strike. Luis Lopez goes in to play second base after running for Carlos Baerga. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Mets. Another breaking ball, 1-1. Beltre fouls it off. Carlos Perez just got out of trouble in the home 7th. So did Reed in the top of the inning.
Yeah, Rick Reed striking out the first batter, getting the second batter to hit to Ordonez. I should say that's the 3rd out of the inning. So Rick Reed throwing good strikes, and so is Carlos Perez.
Reed has not walked a batter. It's not real news for Rick Reed, who's always among the very elite in the National League in terms of fewest walks allowed or the ratio of walks per 9 innings.
Well, you saw him getting that Luke with a good striker. It looked like a little bit high, but he got Luke to chase that ball in the 7th.
And the breaking ball 2-2. In fact, we told you earlier about what a control pitcher Carlos Perez usually is. Reed has given up the 3rd fewest walks per average over 9 innings in the league, and Perez the 5th fewest. That's fouled, or at least twisting towards the line before it's grabbed in fair territory by Lopez. So Beltre retired, 1 away. One out, nobody on. Charles Johnson coming up. Make sure to stay tuned after our telecast of the Mets and the Dodgers for Fox Sports News. All the day's scores and more coming up at 10 o'clock here on Fox Sports New York. Charles Johnson 0 for 2. Noise in the background. The wave has emerged.
It's coming back. Here's a guy you got to watch. Although he has a 208 batting average, he's got some pop in the bat. He's got 15 home runs.
One ball, 1 strike on Johnson. Fans saluting themselves for the well-orchestrated wave. Reed's 1-1 pitch, a fastball on the outside corner. One ball, 2 strikes to Johnson. And that's lined to right. Husky there. So 2 men away. Rick Reed keeps sailing along. He's given up 4 hits so far. But the key again with Reed, as we've talked about since his first game as a New York Met, control. Take a look at his pitching line and see that big goose egg towards the right side of your screen. He has not walked a batter. That is in stark contrast to the Dodgers starter, Carlos Perez. And so with Perez having worked 7 innings and walking 6, his work is done.
And that's unusual for Carlos Perez. He usually has good control.
So Alex Cora will be the pinch hitter, and Mookie Wilson explaining how he wants the Mets to defend Cora. Which Husky in right field was pretty deep, and now he's been moved in a couple of steps against Cora. He's the brother of Joey Cora, another major league infielder. And the breaking ball, 0-1. 2 out, nobody on here in the 8th inning.
Alex Cora batting only 138. Hasn't been to bat that often.
He got to play against his brother Joey. fact, he made his big league debut coming in as a defensive replacement in Seattle during the interleague period this year when the Dodgers played the Mariners. 1-1 line foul.
When Rick Reed is on, hitters very seldom get pitches over the middle of the plate. He's either inside or outside with quality strikes. He's been quite a story.
And the 1-2 pitch to the right side. Oh, bad hop for Lopez, and he can't hold on. He was expecting it to stay down, and when it came up, he couldn't field it cleanly, and that should be an error on Luis Lopez.
Second baseman Eric Young.
Well, a lot of baseball people feel second base is Lopez's best position. He got down, stayed down, ball came up, and he was unable to get the handle. So Cora on first base. Carlos Baerga removed by Bobby Valentine for Luis Lopez, who went into pinch run for Baerga last inning.
Well, we showed you Red Foley a moment ago. You were clairvoyant, knowing that he'd have some work to do. And he did charge Luis Lopez with the error, and so now it's 1-0 on Eric Young, the Dodgers leadoff batter.
It looks to me right now the team that can manufacture a run is going to win this ball game. So managers become so important late in the game when you have to manufacture a run.
Fastball up, 2-0. You've declared nobody's going to hit it out of here tonight.
Well, no declaration like that, but the way these guys have been throwing tonight, unless the Mets can take advantage of the Dodgers bullpen, this game might be won on speed.
That's hit hard into left field and headed towards the corner. Up with it now is Phillips. Cora flying around third. The relay throw to the plate from Ordonez. Not in time. A double for Eric Young, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. He had the game-winning hit last night, and he's put the Dodgers on top in the 8th inning tonight.
So the error hurts the Mets. And Eric Young took advantage of the error in driving Cora all the way around from first base to put the Dodgers ahead 1-0. Eric Young, who did most of his playing last year in Colorado, hit that ball hard, and the Mets were not shading Young straight up. They were shading him and hit the ball the other way. Strong throw from Ordonez, but late as Cora slides in ahead of the tag.
1-0 Los Angeles, and Mark Grusolonic 2 for 3 will be the hitter. So Alex Cora looked as though he grounded out to end the inning. It turns into an unearned run for the Dodgers as Cora, utilizing outstanding speed, came around from first. Kickoff play at second. Eric Young back.
And Cora with a good jump off first base. The ball's in front of him. He knows that he's going to try for home. He rounds third base on his way home, and he beats the throw. So good speed. Put the Dodgers ahead 1-0.
Fastball on the outer edge to Grusolonic, 0-1.
Usually a double left field, you don't see runners coming from first base and scoring. It usually ends up second and third, but as you mentioned, Howie, Cora with good speed just kept on coming.
Piazza wants it away. That's where it's delivered, and it winds up in Olerud's glove. But damaged by the Dodgers in the 8th. It looked harmless enough when Cora hit a ground ball, but Lopez bobbled it, and then Eric Young drove Cora around with the only run so far.
We interrupt this program to bring you the following message. No one duplicates color better than we do. MCS Canon.
It's out there waiting. And in all our years of experience, we've learned one thing. You're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With upfront pricing at Midas, we first perform a 45-point inspection to find what repairs are needed and what can wait, so you only pay what we quote you. Come into Midas today, because you never know what you might run into next.
You'll find it easy to get to,
but very hard to leave. It's the Mohegan Sun way.
We keep the line short and the action non-stop. It's the Mohegan Sun way.
Everybody wins at these tables. It's the Mohegan Sun way.
We'll make every visit one you'll remember. It's the Mohegan Sun way.
Exit 76 off I-95 in Connecticut. Like no place on earth. Come experience.
The Mohegan Sun way.
I believe in brotherhood.
International Week continues with African American Day on Sunday, August 2nd. All fans will get a Negro League cap free, courtesy of Chase.
This Negro League cap is from the Newark Eagles.
Be here when the Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX. That's 718-507-TIXX.
Show up at Shea for African American Day.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Well, it's getting late here at Shea Stadium and all around New York and the East Coast for that matter. Well, a lot later for the Mets than it is on the clock at 9:17. But the Mets in the last of the 8th will hit against Scott Radinsky, and Edgardo Alfonzo takes ball 1. Radinsky on to relieve Carlos Perez. And Alfonso's slump continues. He's now 1 for his last 25. That's on the outside corner, 1-1. Two and 1 to Alfonso. Radinsky, former Chicago White Sox pitcher.
4-5 on the year with a 2.76 ERA. He's been in 46 games for the Dodgers and pitched 45 2/3 innings in 46 games.
Hit hard through the hole. A base hit for Alfonso. So the Mets get the leadoff man on. And that is noteworthy because it's the first time tonight they've been able to get their leadoff hitter on base. The hope for Glenn Hoffman, the Dodgers manager, is that Radinsky can get this into Jeff Shaw's hands. He's the closer. But here in the 8th inning, the Mets trailing by a run have John Olerud, their hottest hitter, coming up. He's 2 for 3.
And both hits off Carlos Perez, a tough left-hander. And he faces another left-hander right here.
Olerud had the only hits for the Mets until Alfonso. Showing bunt, didn't make contact there. 1 ball, no strikes.
Now they're going to check the ball. Ball hit off Johnson's glove, didn't go very far away from the catcher. So Alfonso had to hold on at first base. This guy doesn't drop very many balls. One of the better defensive catchers, and what an asset that is late in the ball game to a team. The catcher's defense. You're reluctant to try a running game against Johnson. Johnson and Pudge Rodriguez with the Texas Rangers shut down the running game.
So Olerud, the Mets' hottest hitter, their 3-hitter, bunts foul, 1-1. That's somewhat surprising.
Yeah, fans were surprised. They started booing. Especially with the 2 hits Olerud has in his ball game. Or maybe John did it on his own.
John has certainly been comfortable and effective against left-hand pitching. Up the middle and through. It got under Gresselanic's glove. That may have been the reason he was bunting. Try and stay out of the double play and get the runner over. And if Gresselanic comes up with that cleanly, they might have turned a double play. But just as the Dodgers got a break when Lopez made an error in the top of the 8th inning, the Mets get a break. That's going to be an error on Mark Russellonic.
Now Mookie's joking with Olerud. Maybe Olerud misread a sign from Cookie Rojas. But the ball gets under Gressalonic's glove and a big break for the Mets. Now runners on first and second with nobody out. Here it is again. Olerud hits his ball pretty hard. But if Gressalonic comes up with it, they get a double play. Right under his glove into center field. Now you got runners on first and second. And the batter's going to be Mike Piazza. The left-hander's out of the game. The right-hander's coming in to face Piazza. Mark Gressalonik, the shortstop of the Dodgers, unable to come up with the ball, and now it's our omni-point haul to the bullpen.
Hello?
Susan, it's Fred.
Hi. Are we still on for tonight?
Indeed. I have reservations at Chez Joseph.
Really? That place is always booked.
Well, Shay's a personal friend of mine. Pick you up at 7.
Okay. So, do you look as good as you sound?
OmniPoint, 100% digital, 0% hassle. Get a $179 Ericsson 388, the latest in digital wireless, for $49.
No matter how high the thermometer climbs or how sticky the humidity gets, nothing will be hotter this summer than the deals you'll get during Jeep summer days. Like a zero-down, $279 a month Cherokee lease with only $774 due at signing. With all this, including air conditioning at no extra charge. Or get a great price on Jeep Wrangler. But you'd better hurry in, because deals this incredibly hot are bound to cool down fast. Check out this $279 lease at your dealer.
Having fun yet? Then get to the summer of fun and nobody beats the Wiz. Buy the fun stuff you want and get more fun stuff, like special offers, tickets to games, Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall with select purchases. See newspaper for details. Nobody beats the Wiz.